Hello everyone out there in internet land. Thank you for joining me here for another YouTube video discussion at Retro Geek Gaming, where I like to talk about stuff that's retro. Every now and then throw some geeky stuff out there, and of course mostly gaming stuff. If you've seen anything but more than two of my videos, you know that I'm mostly a gamer at heart. So welcome to the channel if this is your first time, and if you've been here before and you haven't subscribed, make sure you go ahead and subscribe, leave a like on this video. If you watched it and you enjoyed this, that way I know that you've seen it and you want to see more content like this. And of course, if you have anything to say about anything that I discussed in this video or in videos of the past, you can go back and watch them and leave comments to them as well. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I love the feedback. But let's go ahead and get into today's video, shall we? I've been thinking about this for a while because I was trying to think about what video I wanted to do next, right? The second video of the 2024 new year, what I want to talk about. Something that kind of mentioned last year, and I've been kind of thinking about it for the past couple of weeks, and I think, yeah, I'll just go ahead and talk about this because it's kind of an interesting discussion to hear people's different tastes in games. We all have those kind of games that we love to play. Like for me, it's Zelda-like games. It's Metroidvania-like games. Games that focus more on exploration, puzzle solving, I guess like guidance-based stuff. Like if you know certain Metroid games, you have to master the skills to guide through certain parts of an area with like a shine spark. You know what I mean. But those kind of games that offer challenges and rewards based upon exploring or going into a dungeon and using the items that you have, those are the games that I'm more interested in. But on the flip side of that, we all have those games that we don't like, right? You hear it. You hear like this game is, you know, like back in the day, for example, you hear this game is an FPS, a first-person shooter. You just instantly are just not interested in it. You don't care at all, and you just, you know, turn the channel away, stop watching it. If it's something you can fast forward through, you fast forward on to the next game, what have you. That's what this video is about. I want to give you guys my picks of maybe 3, maybe 4, depending upon how many come to my mind while I'm recording this video, of those kind of game genres, types, those buzzwords that media like to throw out there, of games that when I hear that this is what this game is going to be, instantly kind of make me cringe and make me really think, do I want to play this game? And I'll try to give some examples along the way as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Number 1, and you know that with my picks, I don't really have a 1, 2, 3 order because I kind of consider them all equal. Like, I'm just not that kind of person that likes to make top 5 lists. That's why I call them top picks, because these are the top of the list, depending upon what day and what my mood is. They're all at the top of the list in one way or the other. But for me, if I had to start anywhere for games that I definitively would not play, just because of my experience with them in the past, because everything else on this list, I probably would give a shot to, and I have given a shot to, are real-time strategy games. Now, I'm sorry, all real-time strategy fans out there. You know, StarCraft. I'm sure it's a great game. People that like the Age of Empires games, I'm sure it's fantastic. I've played Age of Empires myself. I just can't get into it. I'm sorry. There's too much resource management. Like, I think it's with the Civilization series that people like to play and stuff like that. I can't do this. And this also includes The Sims. I don't know if you want to consider The Sims to be a real-time strategy game because you click on it and you manage resources. It's not the same thing as going into battle and all that stuff. But just games like SimCity and The Sims, they're more simulation games. So that's kind of an adjacent to this. But the real-time strategy games like that, I just can't get into them. I'm sorry. There's something about Age of Empires and just these games and how they play that just, I can't. And like I mentioned before, probably number 2 on that list or adjacent to it would be these sim games, which is weird because I like Animal Crossing. But Animal Crossing, I guess, just has more action to it because I'm physically moving the character. And I'm like, if you play on like the Wii version, you're physically doing the action. So I can probably even play The Sims because I have played The Sims and I have played the Herbs, and I was more into that than I was into real-time strategy games. So, sorry. Next on my list, is one that I say regrettably because I do enjoy them to an extent, but they are also kind of an irksome thing for me. Like, why are you doing this? Roguelikes. I'm sorry. Roguelike games just kind of bother me because I played Enter the Gungeon, Crypt of the Necrodancer, No Reload Heroes. There's been a lot of games that I've played. Binding of Isaac back in the day. I played them, and I can see why they're enjoyable because you get to do this loop over and over again, right? But there's something about doing that loop that gets annoying because, especially with Binding of Isaac and Enter the Gungeon, these games that I start to get good at, where I get down to the lower levels and I realize just how screwed I am because of the game. Not because of anything that I did, because the map is aligned in a certain way, right? The items have been shuffled around to where the item that you want is actually on the 7th floor, but you need it now on the 5th floor. The bosses are like, this is supposed to be a boss that I encounter here, but I encountered it here, so now it's going to kick my butt. It's not a cool thing, because it's one thing when it's a game, like I'm going to mention next, where you can maybe go around or avoid, or just learn the strategy to and get good at. And you can still learn the strategies to them, but when you're not prepared for them, it just seems kind of off. So roguelike games, just kind of throw me off. Like, I enjoy them. I played them with my kids. We have a good time. But I kind of have to take pause a little bit and think, is this something that I want to play? Because am I going to enjoy this loop? Because I'm probably going to see the first floor 1,000 times. And I kind of let it slip out a little bit, so I apologize. But the next on the list is actually Souls-like games. And again, sorry to any Souls fans out there. The games are just too hard for me. And, I've tried this before with Demon's Souls, with Dark Souls, with these other games that have this Souls-like mentality behind it, and I just can't do it. I'm sorry, that's just me. Maybe I'm not the get good kind of guy, because to me, if it's a choice, right, and I raise the difficulty up to intense or whatever the highest difficulty is, I'm bringing that upon myself. The fact that you have a game that just instantly says, I'm going to kick your butt and there's nothing you can do about it, screw you, figure it out, it just bothers me. Now, I don't mind them as much because in games like Elden Ring, for an example, and even what I played of Dark Souls, you have a way of like, okay, I can go over here and level up, or I can learn this area a little bit better, maybe find a better weapon, and then come back to that boss later and tackle it later. So at least I have a little more respect for that. But there's just something about it. Like, I'll give you an example. I played a game probably last year. Well, maybe it was the year before that. It was called Ender Lilies. It was more of a Metroidvania game, but it has that Souls-like mentality when it came to the bosses and to the enemies. And I'm playing a game now called Worldless that has that same mentality, where every single area that you go to has some kind of a fight encounter. And yeah, that's turn-based. You take a turn, you attack them, they take a turn, they attack you. But it feels like when they attack you, they do like 500% more damage than what you do, and they get 5 times more time than you do to attack. That's not the case. That's just how it feels because it's so one-sided. And it gets annoying because what is the point of me going through this Metroidvania-like game, leveling up, getting max health, getting max whatever I can get to make myself last longer in these fights, if all you can do is your super mega powerful, Goku Spirit Bomb-like attack and take me out in 2 hits? Why did I just do this? Why did I just play this game for 20 plus hours to do all this for you to be able to demolish me in 2 hits? It just seems unfair. And I get the reasons why, because when I do finish those fights and when I do beat them, there is that adrenaline that goes through, and that high satisfaction. So I get it. It just gets annoying, and a lot of times when I hear this game is a Souls-like game, I just have to take pause a little and go, oh, do I really want to? And yeah, I guess that's the end of the video because I can't really think of anything else. But I do have a couple of quick shout outs, some honorary mentions, if you will, of just like, because again, I typically like open world games, but even when I hear open world, I really think you mean empty, like a vast open world. Like when I played Immortals Phoenix Rising, there was a lot in that game, but there was just more of a lot of chests and just a lot of stuff to find that they put filler in. If you could, shrink the map down and not make it feel so vast, I'm sure there could probably be a heck of a lot better. But that is something that also annoys me also. And the idea, because this is what happens in World Lists, this is what happened in Ender Lilies, and so I'm seeing this happen quite a bit in some games where they give you absolutely, positively no hint about anything. No hint about this is how you got to defeat it. No hint about this is maybe where you might want to go next. Nothing. Now, World List isn't so bad because it does point out key areas to advance the story, but outside of that, if it tells you got to go up here, you would think I got to go up and to the right, but actually they mean you got to go to the left and then go up and then go to the right, and it's just like, but that's not what it shows on the map. That's not, make your map better then. But those are just some of my gripes, guys. I don't want to keep you too long. And I know that it wasn't a whole heck of a lot because ultimately there's not a whole lot that I wouldn't play. Like, I like the Metroidvania games. I like the Zelda-like games, the action-adventure games. I can probably even play a good puzzle game. Even maybe a good fighter, depending upon if I'm in the mood for it. So I don't think that there's a whole lot that I wouldn't play. I just choose not to because of either, budget or just because of time. Like, I've said this before to some people that I know personally. Sometimes I don't play a game because I'm not ready to drop 1,000 hours into it yet. I've got too much to play, and I've got, a heck of a lot of stuff that I had to do around the house and with my job and stuff like that. I don't just necessarily have the time to go and drop 500 plus hours into a game. No offense to it. I'm sure it's great, and I'm sure that 500 hours is going to feel really, really worth it when I'm done and I've gotten that platinum. But for right now, it's just not on my list of things to do. But, and online games. I guess I can throw that in there too because there are some online games I can play, but for the most part, if it's a game that's online focused, that kind of feels like it's just a cheap little cash grab game. Like the live service games. You know those ones that seem like they always focus on being multiplayer and online only. But that's just my list, guys. Again, if you have anything you want to add to the discussion, feel free to put it down in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And as I said in the beginning, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you haven't checked out this channel before. Or if you have checked it out and you just haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and tickle that button a little bit. I'm sure you'll really appreciate it. And who knows, maybe stick around because I might have more video content coming up. More so than what I realized because I seem my mind seems to be on a creative streak lately. But I do appreciate you guys watching. As always, have yourself a great weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next video, whenever that will be. Have a good one.